Here's a brief demonstration of how to use the new online form for the Beacon Connection program. Anytime you need to enter a report after you've completed a call, you just need to enter this link, support.beacon.org/Beacon Connection form. And it doesn't matter whether you use capital letters or not. I just did that so it was easier to see. Once you hit enter, you'll get to the form itself. On some screens, you may see a login. You can ignore that. You don't need to worry about that. And so here's a brief introduction, and then you're going to want to enter information about the caller. And just as a note, whenever you see an asterisk, that information is required. Sometimes you may not have the information, and you could just enter a note to that effect, but we're really looking for you to get as much information as you can. So in general, we need an address and an email if they have it. And part of the reason for that is we have to report on which states we're active in and how many people we contact there, and that's why that information is important. Also, we like to send them our printed materials. I'll send that out once you let me know. So please offer that to them. And then finally, the Survivor to Survivor program is an important resource, and so we'd like you to mention that whenever it's appropriate. So I'm just going to make up someone to enter here. I'm going to pretend that someone named Zelda Martinez called, and she is the survivor. One thing you'll need to know, just as you did on the paper forms, is the person, is the caller the patient, or is the caller a caregiver, a husband or wife or someone who's calling on behalf of the patient? And in this case, the caller is the patient. So these next lines I can skip. I would fill these out if the person was the caregiver. Then I would enter the actual patient's information here and their relationship to the caller. So if it was a wife calling because her husband had bladder cancer, I'd fill that out in the online form. Patient age is something that we try and get, and gender as well, in this case female. So address, I'm going to put 124 Watervliet, which is where I grew up, in Pompton Lakes. And each of these fields has a character limit, but you should be able to fit in what you need. So that's my old address. If you can't find an address or don't have an address, that happens sometimes, try and get it if you can, but you can enter Beacon's address if you don't have an address. So you'll have some kind of phone for them because that's how you got in touch with them. I didn't make it mandatory because I didn't know if it would be a home phone or a cell phone or whatever. So just enter whatever phone number you have. And then their email if they have one. We like to get that so we can follow up with information from our online resource library. So here are some fields that you're used to seeing. Length of call, we'll say it was 5 minutes. Notes about the diagnosis. I'm just going to write something really quickly here, but the diagnosis changes a lot, or the way it's described changes a lot, so we just made that a text field. Patient concerns, you can check any that apply, and if you ever start to feel that you need more options here, that there's a question that you get a lot of that you don't see reflected here, just let me know and I'll fill it out. So after your call, or immediately after your call, you can enter a brief synopsis of your conversation. I'm not going to do that here because this is just a demonstration, but you do have a lot of space here to describe the issues and concerns of the caller. And then here's where you can describe what material they needed. And again, we're trying to send them the hard copy materials that we have. So just let us know. And if they need to be referred to Survivor to Survivor, that's a really useful program. We're trying to get people to know more about it. And here, and this just makes it easier for our data entry. We have a space in the database for the reason for the call, but you only have 40 characters for it, unfortunately. So I'm just going to write bladder cancer diagnosis, educating self. And then here you can summarize your call with follow-up or any other things that you want to tell us about the call. And then enter your name and your email. .org and the date of the call. Okay. Right, and then once you click to complete form, click on that button and it will submit the report to me, and you'll get this screen that says that we got your report. So if you have any questions, please let me know.